life began. And life set out to evolve through countless iterations, full of little successes, and all changing accidents. Until, at some point, we came along. Seemingly within a blink of an eye, mankind took the stage. And we began to shape the planet ourselves, fitting it best to our needs. Which is why we call this era the Anthropocene, the age of humankind. Unfortunately, some of our plans had no regard for other creatures or the planet itself. Today, our leading role and our impact raise a lot of questions. How will we generate our energy in the future? How will we protect the biodiversity? And in what kind of cities do we want to live? Campus Germany invites you to get to know the answers. Connect your minds and immerse yourself in 100,000 ideas for a better future.
I don't get this part. I want you to take off your shoes and jump in the water, or jump in the balloons. But I've been yelled at 5 times for having my mask below my nose. I'm not sure what's going on. These things know you're coming. The hell? Right now we're going up the escalator inside the pavilion. Energy lab. Alright, so this room's pretty cool. It's about energy. There's a solar thing. They have a kid like flying a kite there. Show how, you know, the wind power and everything works. This chain here, you pull this chain and it produces power. It just shows different ways of producing power. This one over here is about the ocean. The ocean waves producing power off of that. Alright, so this room is about energy storage. Basically showing about the importance of the energy storage, and that a lot of times these things are producing energy, but sometimes they're not as far as wind power, so you need to be able to store the power. For instance, this is about energy storage in limestone, being able to renewably store it and stuff. All kinds of different interactive exhibits where you're moving around back and forth. That creates energy. There's another one back there where through pushing create energy. This thing here, you lift up and down and create some energy. It tells you how many times you need to lift it up and down to power a cell phone, laptop, that type of thing. Alright, this one here in the back is about deep sea energy storage. About creating these gigantic concrete balls, and basically, like you see, through water pressure, putting some there, and through a vacuum, this thing goes down, creates electricity. These are the models of them. There's another interactive thing back here, but yeah, just all kinds of different innovative ways to produce energy using nature. So this next part in German is about the future cities, saying that 85% of the people are going to be living in cities, because, well, the city's going to take over, I guess, everything. This is a pretty cool exhibit here. So The first part is about like the fish, then producing the fish, and then using feeding them with like grasshoppers and stuff like that, and then using that to grow the tomatoes and making the tomatoes and all that. This is a whole display here on basic sustainability in terms of not growing plants out where farmers are growing them inside the cities, and having these automated systems where basically everything is grown inside. So they're showing how it's all grown outside, but just basically having buildings that it's all grown in. This next part here is about the building materials. So like most of the building materials are damaged. So like recycling. So these are all stones from recycling. This is something called clay tech, which is creating materials out of hemp and clay and vegetable boards. Put them all together. This one's glass. This one's all plastic. This one's really interesting. This is actually taking mushrooms and compressing the mushrooms once they're dried into this like building material. Pretty wild. It's more about building using the computers. And this final one here is about recreating the elevators. They got some kind of new system where elevators can basically move up and down and there's no limit of heights. Alright, so this next room is super fascinating. I'm going to go to the catalytic converter system. This one here is about taking buildings once you demolish them, reusing it. But I'm going to go to, it's pretty much the most interesting one. This is solar science. So it's about basically making a paint. The paint is made out of juices. And you can take this juice and basically paint it onto concrete buildings, paint it onto all kinds of stuff, and it produces electricity. So this was something this guy invented in 1991. And yeah, I mean, it's basically just a paint that you paint onto buildings, paint it onto concrete, and it makes electricity. It's pretty wild. This is very sustainable. This is the second craziest thing, which is something that's available now, I guess. And this is the Lumen. What is it? The Lumen Jet. And so this thing has already been certified for flights, and basically kind of like a drone thing. So it takes 6 people. That's good. It takes 6 people and a pilot. And supposedly it's 10 times faster than building a smart train station, and 100 times cheaper. It's pretty wild. So it goes up to 300 kilometers an hour. Pretty wild. This is a chemical process that basically breaks down through enzymes, breaks down plastics, like plastic bottles and stuff, so that make it reusable. Because it's not reusable now, but makes it. And then this is a pretty cool thing. This is glass that basically makes its own shade. So instead of having shades on the window, you move this thing around, and it makes the glass way more shade, so you can kind of see. It's more dramatic during the day, but you see, like, right now it's at 100%. Right now it's at 0%. So So some type of new glass that they're going to be building onto buildings. Pretty neat. Oh, there's one of the planes there. So just to touch back on this concrete juice thing. See there's a block here. So this is basically a piece of concrete, and it's covered with the paint, and it has electricity going to it in terms of sensors to reduce. You see when you cover it, it doesn't produce any electricity. Let the light go on it, it doesn't. So I don't know, this is pretty interesting. If this thing works, which it looks like it does. And when you think about plants obviously use photosynthesis. So it's like if you could use the photosynthesis that's in all plants and use that to make energy. I mean, this is a pretty wild thing here. All right, this next room is about biodiversity. And very nice, beautiful setup. It's a bunch of different screens. They're floating, they're turning. And basically talks about how biodiversity is like one of the best things that we can use as far as nature preserving stuff, making chemicals, things like that, like just using nature. Plan of the world here. Shows you around. It basically shows you what different animals, parts of the world, things that they have to offer. The different companies in Germany that specializing in biodiversity, what we can get out of it, different animals, what we can get out of different animals and plants and stuff. A lot of interactive stuff here. So you open these up, type what language you want, and then it basically plays videos. Alright, I'll start playing a video in a second here. But it basically just gives you a bunch of information about butterflies, different impacts, different things that we can use. Okay, so this next room talks about plants, plant growth. Pretty cool stuff in this one. So this is a new system where basically it talks about, over here, 30,000 tons of herbicides are used globally. Things like 50,000 pounds in Germany or something. So this company in Germany, what they've done is, well, right here, laser versus weed, like weeds. And basically what they're doing is having the tractors pull these things, and it goes through as the plants are going through, and basically shoots down a laser. And the laser kills the certain type of bacteria. It's on like a certain light wave, basically. And so it kills the certain bacteria and is able to target the different types of bacteria, mold, and stuff like that grows. It's pretty wild technology. This one basically talks about, so this is a German company, and basically they make these units, and you're able to grow plants and see what affects the different water, humidity, and animals have effect on the growing. Basically mostly talks about the huge problem of what's happening specifically in America, of the earthworms. And there's earthworms that have been introduced from Europe, and basically they're taking out the northern forest, because what they're doing is they're eating the not the topsoil, but the leaves and everything that are on top. Yep. Oh, this is super cool. This is a technology that basically using, birds. They've been fascinated with birds and how their wings work and everything like that. So this company, the decryption enables us to fly. It's figuring out how to make, how are birds flying, and then how do you make people fly like that. So give you this little remote. Hit the remote, and what they're figuring out through engineering, damn German engineering, is how to make these things fly, and how humans can use them to fly. So pretty neat. Another smart farming. Basically, plant boundaries where they can grow and stuff. There's a few other things here. Oh, this one is about a German company that basically what they do is make these machines that go to the bottom of the ocean, and cold coral, which is coral at the bottom of the ocean, converts CO2. So it's about like finding out how they're converting all this CO2 into oxygen, getting down into the bottom of the earth, not the bottom of the earth, bottom of the ocean, and using these machines to figure out how they're doing it. Alright, so I think we're at the last part of the German pavilion here. Some kind of movie theater. Hello.
Please take a seat.
Holy crap.
Please do not use the swings yet. Please do
It's
not
like
swing
swings.
until you are invited to do so. Please remain seated throughout the whole show.
Wow, so there's swings everywhere. What is this all about? Balloons up in the air.
Please do not use the
All right.
swings yet.
See what this is all
Please
about.
do not swing until you are invited to.
Your journey is almost complete.
But before you leave, there's one last thing worth sharing.
Our planet is in constant motion.
Wow.
It is constantly changing. And more than ever before, it's being changed by us.
At the same time, we know that something is not running the way it should.
Take a look around.
With you, the world is sitting in this room.
You all come from the most different places. And as different as you are, you all voted for the same beliefs and showed that you care.
Wow, this
During your journey through the campus, you all voted for sustainability, responsibility.
Biden.
You all have voted for a world worth living in. That's your dream, my dream.
Someone's touching me.
And still, sometimes we feel powerless. And you're right. It's hard to change the world alone.
Oh, wow.
But we don't have to. Let's try a little experiment. As we think the same way, we can move the same way.
Look, you're not stuck any longer. Let's move together and inspire the people around us to move as well.
Move towards your beliefs to reach a better future.
This is so trippy. Wish I had some mushrooms.
Thank you.
Alright, so that was the end of the German exhibit. That was good. That was fun. That was educational. Alright, so yes, as you walk out here, there's a restaurant here. I'm assuming they have strudel. They better. And then over here, as you're walking out, they have like concerts, symphonies, and tomorrow night they're doing karaoke. There's the DJ booth. And yeah, that's it. Great experience here. There's the people just coming in to enjoy the experience.